Girl, Abriah, Serenity. I'm back at you with another prophetic word. I wanted to release this word today because it was a really heavy sense of urgency with this prophetic word. The Lord came to me on November 20th, 2023 and told me to prepare for lockdown. He didn't say when the lockdown was going to happen. You know, he talked to me about the lockdown last year, but it wasn't as much pressure behind it as it is right now. And last year I thought we were going to go on lockdown when the whole monkeypox thing happened, but we ended up not going on lockdown. Whatever is going to cause this lockdown is going to be worse than COVID, more deadly than COVID. And so he wants us to prepare and make provisions for ourselves. Along with the lockdown is going to come a lot of layoffs. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs. Okay, and he wants us to prepare for that. Get the supplies that we need, make the changements and adjustments that we need to make financially. If you need to downsize, go ahead and downsize if he's called you to do that. If you have to refinance, go ahead and refinance if you have to do that. If you have to, you know, start rationing your meals and planning your meals out and doing things like that, go ahead and do that. He wants us to have our freezers stocked, our refrigerator, our pantries with supplies for our homes that will last a while, because the stores are not going to be easily accessible during these times. You guys remember what it was like when COVID hit. In Illinois, it was hard because we had to wait in lines and we couldn't get into the stores. It was only like 2-3 people in at a time. Sometimes they didn't even have the supplies or the things that we needed. Shipment was really slow. It was all bad. So the Lord wants us to make provisions for ourselves, and he wants to allow his people to be ahead of the curve this time. Again, he did not tell me when this was going to happen. He just said to prepare and that it is going to happen very soon. Now, he said also to be praying for the people who will fall ill during these times, because whatever virus this is, it's very, very deadly. Okay, it's going to be a lot of people who are going to pass away as a result of whatever this is. Like whatever it is, it's going to sweep the nation. He said it's going to sweep the nation. And he showed me a vision of someone blowing a candle out, like whew, and the flame going out. And it's going to sweep the nation. It's going to be a lot of crying. It's going to be a lot of just sadness. Kind of how it was when COVID happened and a lot of people's relatives and things were passing away. To keep your families in prayer, keep them covered in prayer, keep anointing your homes, you know, keep doing whatever you got to do, taking your supplements, being mindful of what you eat, how you care for yourself, and keep your family lifted in prayer, because times are getting ready to get a little hard, you know, for us in this nation. Specifically, he kept putting emphasis on the U.S. And I know right now the U.S. is under judgment. So I know, like, in the times to come, things are not going to be looking too pretty here. But also said to be supportive of your brothers and sisters in Christ during this time. He said, for money will be scarce. He said, your contribution could be the one thing keeping someone from being homeless. He said, be obedient, be loving and generous. Do not withhold from your brother or your sister if you know that you have it. In this time, like he said, it's going to be very scarce. And a lot of people are going to want to be stingy. They're going to want to just try to scavenge up and save what they can. But the Lord is like, if you got it, give it. I cannot stress this enough. There's so many, and even with people that you see online, if you feel led to give. If the Lord puts it on your heart to send something my way or anyone's way, do it. Be obedient, because you just never know what someone is going through behind the camera or what someone else is going through behind the scenes. Even though a lot of us always want to ask why, we want to hear a full testimony, a full story to compel us to give. But the Lord is just like, the way things are about to be set up in these times, like if you feel led to give to somebody, be obedient and do it, because that one contribution could keep them from losing the very thing that they're trying to keep, especially with all these people getting ready to lose their jobs suddenly. So just keep, you know, that in mind. And if you guys, I promise you guys, even when it comes to me, when you guys send me money and you guys sow into this ministry, I don't even have an official name for my ministry. You guys don't know how much it blesses me. You guys don't know how many days my children and I are struggling and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do what. And I'm busting my butt at a job, you know, that interferes, you know, with my content sometimes, and makes it hard for me to be consistent. But then when people just come out of nowhere and they start sowing, I have more availability to be able to do what the Lord has called me to do. So it's not only just about sowing into people, you know, to, you know, keep them from being homeless, but sometimes it just keeps things in the kingdom flowing. I think it's a video I made a couple months ago where I was talking about inheritance, how I was talking about a lot of people aren't really full throttle stepping into their call because they are bound by bills and they're bound by 9-to-5s that keep them from doing what the Lord needs them to do. And then with these things, happening in the world, if you feel led to give, just go ahead and give. There's been so many times the Lord has had me give and I didn't understand why. There's so many times he's had me give my last and I didn't know if I was going to get it back. There's been so many times where I've had to be obedient without question. And so during these times, and I'm not just talking about me, I'm talking about everybody. If the Lord puts it on your heart to send some money to somebody during this time, just do it. Things are about to get so hard out here, you guys. It really is. And we are all going to have to help each other in the best ways that we can and do what we're called to do, and be mindful that this is not just about us, but we are all getting ready to be pressed. Especially if you live in the United States, things are not going to get better, but it will be different. At times, the Lord also said, times will be getting hard. He said, reconcile with whoever you must reconcile with. Make amends and remember that life is but a moment. Do not hold grudges or bitterness in your hearts. These times call for unity and support. Do not allow the enemy to keep you from your community. Okay? He really emphasized on this because, like I said, things are getting ready to get hard for us in the U.S. There's a lot of people, especially in the African-American community, where we want to just be independent and we want to separate from everybody and do our own thing. And in this time, the Lord is saying you cannot afford to be Mr. Independent during this season. Even if you have it financially, you may need that mental, spiritual support. We are going to need each other in these times. And the enemy has tried to use a lot of us as scapegoats to create division in our families, to keep us from our families. But the Lord is calling a lot of us back home. He's calling a lot of us back to our families, because in this time we are going to need to stick together, because that's just how hard it is going to be. And that may not necessarily mean he's going to physically send you back, but he is calling you to spend more time with your family, to pour into your family in ways that maybe you weren't able to do it before, or you weren't capable of doing before. Maybe he had to do a work in you before he could send you back. And the Lord really wants us to make amends with whoever we need to make amends with, because what's coming, you guys, is going to sweep the nation. It's going to be lots of crying and mourning, tears. People are going to be so upset. And the last thing that you want is to hold a grudge or just have some bitterness and some resentment in your heart towards somebody, and you never got to settle the account with them, right? And you never got to talk to them, and you never got to talk things out because you were so prideful and so stubborn, and you didn't do what you know you should have done because that unforgiveness in your heart, right? And even if you're not in a space right now where you feel like you can forgive, pray for the willingness to forgive. Pray for your willingness to forgive, because the times to come, you're going to be praying that those same people that you don't want to see are okay. Don't take for granted any time that we have here, because like the Lord said, life is but a moment. We look up one day and then, the Lord may call us home. None of us are promised tomorrow. Our days are numbered. The Lord knows what the number of our days are, and we should not take them for granted, okay? And he really wants us to be unified when these times come, when we're doing our kingdom assignments. We all thought we need to be separated. But we're not supposed to be separated permanently, at least not all of us. Make amends with whoever you need to make amends with. Reach out to whoever you need to reach out to and make it right. Make it right. If the Lord has been calling you to do that, even if you feel like you're not the one at fault, even if you have to be the one to initiate the conversation, just do it. Just do it. The Lord, and this is probably confirmation if you're hearing this, just do it, because when things are getting ready to happen, you're going to be wishing that you listened to me when you saw this the first time. Know somebody who needs to hear this word. Share it to them. Repost it. But you guys, things are going to be very, very different in the U.S. Things are getting ready to change drastically. And we need to be on our P's and Q's, and we need to heed this word and prepare in whatever ways we can. I know everybody is at a different space. I know everybody is, having different struggles in different ways and areas of their life. But we need to prioritize and do whatever we can and support whomever we can in whatever ways that we can. Also, one thing I also would encourage you guys to do that I've been doing for a while is buy people Bibles. If you have the extra money, buy the Bibles. One thing I like to do is I like to send Bible care packages, and that's what I want my ministry to be. Like, it's not enough to just send somebody a Bible. Like, no, I want to send you a Bible, a study Bible, highlighters, bookmarks, notebooks, all the things, care packages for people, whomever needs it, pass them out like candy. Like, that's what I want, because it's getting harder to get Bibles. Bookstores will be closing. It's going to be very difficult. There is going to be a generation of people who are going to say they've never seen a Bible before. Think about that. Pass out as many Bibles as you can. I like to store Bibles in different places. So I will store a Bible in my car. I have multiple Bibles hidden throughout the house, and I put them in random places in other people's houses, because you just never know. I love to gift Bibles to people. People always really appreciate it. And I always give them a study Bible as well, because a lot of people are like, oh, they gave me a Bible, but I don't understand what I'm reading. Now you got a study Bible. You got something to work with. And I just really love doing that for people, and I'm going to continue to do that for people. And if you guys want to support that too, I'm going to create a different PayPal, Cash App tag for that ministry, and kind of get that established and get that up and rolling, so I can send care packages to people who are like in prisons and things like that, people who don't have access to things like that, who want a care package. We'll talk about that later, but we're going to get that up and running. But buy Bibles, heed this word, you know, take this word back to the Lord. Of course, test every spirit behind every prophetic word that you hear. But the Lord is really emphasizing that things are getting ready to drastically change, and lockdowns are coming. A lot of sickness is coming. And remember, I said upper respiratory and unexplainable infections, and it's really heavily going to impact women, the elderly, and children. Guys, just be in prayer and be mindful of what I said. And I love you all with the love of the Lord, and I'll see you guys next time.